If you have a short AI script and you want to turn it into 20 different images, just click on this button here. And in just a couple of seconds, you get back 20 images that matches the exact AI script that you have created. We even get the image prompt as well as the word that is spoken in the video. And we can even redo the image in case we want to change it and get the exact perfect image for your video. So today we're going to turn an AI script into 20 images for automated content. And the main reason for doing this is that manual image prompting, like copy pasting a prompt into your favorite image generator and then prompting 20 images, takes a long time. So you can automatically turn your script into different image prompts and then put them into your content. So that means that you can, content cut every 2 seconds. You don't have to do that, but they have found on content that you cut more often and something interesting pops up more often, it grabs people's attention a lot more, and then it drags them throughout the video. So that's why we're doing this. And the goal is to turn a single script into 20 plus AI generated images with N8N. And we're going to do it in 3 steps. So first, we're going to split the text into 20 parts. Then we're going to make an image for each part. And then we're going to make a redo image button, just in case that the video or the image isn't really that good. It allows us to, click the redo image button and then we get another iteration. And that's really where I love image generation, because it allows us to keep redoing it until we have the perfect image, right? So by the end of this video, you'll be able to click a button and you get 20 images matching with the script word spoken. So before we begin, I just want to tell you this is part of the AI content clone series. I'm going to give you access to this document in the link in the description. So this is episode number 4. I haven't created this yet, so it's going to be a build with me type video. So it might be a little bit unstructured, but I'll try to make each step in the timeline down below so you can skip around however you please. And also, I want to mention that I have a growing school community with 323 members now. And if you want to download the entire AI clone creator, we have now created the video on it, Vibe Creator, that you'll find inside of the Vibe Creator classroom. This goes through step-by-step how to automate an entire AI clone, from scraping sources to making the YouTube script to creating the voice to creating the avatar, the caption, and the publish to 9 different platforms. Highly recommend checking it out. In the link in the description is a free trial for 7 days. So you can go in there, grab the blueprints, and then just get out of there. Or stay. It's better if you stay, actually. I'll answer every single post within 24 hours. It's the first thing I do in the morning. With all that being said, let's get into step number 1, split text into 20 parts. So I'm going to continue on the green screen one that I had from the previous episode in this series. And it's also now going to get turned into news, because one of the things I think this could be insane at is just actually creating a lot of images in the background for news type content, and then we can put other images on top of that are proof images or maybe tweets from people. Like when Sam Altman drops something, it's nice to have the actual tweet itself in there, but also have a really interesting background image or possibly even a background video that matches that proof image. So what we're going to do to begin is actually find a news article or actually make a short script. So I'm just going to go to Rowan Chung's Rundown AI. I love his newsletter. And so let's see if something interesting happened this week that we can try to use as content for a short video script. So it looks like OpenAI now has a job application board where it's supposed to match employers with AI savvy job candidates. And I think that's pretty interesting. And it can be a big value add for you guys that know a lot about AI. And then obviously matching that with small businesses and local governments. Are you going to work for the local government? Come on. So I'm already kind of getting a hook like OpenAI wants to employ you or something like that. You can get a job through OpenAI. Hooks like that would do really well. So let's try to just click on it. And you can see that the article is about 53 minutes long. I'm just going to copy paste this into ChatGPT and ask for a short script. We're going to automate this in the future, but for now, we don't really need to automate it. I'm going to use one of the prompts that I love for YouTube scripting inside of this message model here. It has a system and it has a user, but we're just going to take the system and we're going to paste that into ChatGPT as well. So here you see the entire script, but we're going to have some guidelines. And this is basically just a few guidelines to make it pretty interesting right away. And we're going to post that and see what is going to be the output. AI is about to change your job way faster than you think. Yeah, that's a pretty good hook. So let's take this script here and make it part of the entire workflow here. So I'm going to go to the Vibe Creator AI clone. I'm going to use this job as the name. We're going to have none of this, but we'll have just the YouTube script itself. And then we need to figure out how to create the voiceover itself. Now, I kind of already did this and I'm not going to do it again because we don't actually need it for this part of the building. We only need to split the text into 20 parts and then create an image for each part. So let's start doing that by splitting it into 20 parts. So as long as we have the actual script here in Airtable, it should be able to be split into 20 parts. So I'm going to create a new button here that helps us do that, and also that updates the editor. So here we would have like 20 parts with an image right next to it. So let's just see if we can split it first. And I think that should be a pretty easy task. But we need an actual button. So I'm going to create a duplicate field and I'm going to change this copy edit field and make a split into images. Then I'm going to create a new webhook so we can actually grab it. Let's go into the AI clone itself. Here we go. And I'm going to make a new automation here. Make sure to add a new webhook. Copy this test URL, go back to the Vibe Creator again, and then copy everything before the question mark and paste. Just like that, we have a new webhook that gets triggered when we click on this button here. So the only thing we actually need is the YouTube short script. So I'll just put it right after that. And now to split it into images, the only thing we need to make sure we have is the actual YouTube short script component. So we do have that. We do also have voice ID, but we don't actually need that. I'll just keep it in, doesn't matter. Let's go over to the N8N again and listen for a test event. So one of the problems that might happen here is that the text is too large. So we actually don't get the full text. So let's see what the end of this text is. Hit follow for more. So let's see in the AI clone here, we get the short script here. Let's click on JSON. So we actually get, yeah, so hit follow for more. So it actually does give us all the characters. If you were to do this with a full YouTube script, like a 10-minute long video, it wouldn't actually work with the webhook only. So you would have to add a search records from Airtable to get all the data, like, you know, a 10-minute YouTube video script. But since this is only a short video, we can just keep on going. So the next thing that we have to do, that I think I'm going to use a ChatGPT node to just split that text into many different segments, and all those segments being a JSON object. So we can take each and every single item and pull that into an image generator. So we're going to use a message, a model. And because I already did this before in Make, I'm going to take the text to images. I think we have a nice prompt here that we can use. Here you can see the full workflow, and this is the prompt that we used before. We're using the 4.1, and here we have a system prompt. So I'll just copy this, put it into the system, and I'll also use the user where we actually pull in the transcript. And it's important that we have JSON object to be the response format. Other than that, I think it should all be good. So let's make sure to add a user prompt here as well. And here we actually do get the YouTube short script immediately in here, but it doesn't actually work. So let's redo that, drag the short script over here, and that should be fine. We just need to execute and connect these nodes. Model as well, I think we could use like 4.1 mini. It doesn't have that much of a cost, so I think that would be nice. I'm also going to just double check this expression here to divide the script into 12 to 14 word phrases. Each phrase must be longer than 12 words. Each phrase must be shorter than 14 words. You're forbidden from adding words to the script yourself. Literally take what's in the script and split it. You must output a JSON in this format. So if you have phrase 1, 2, 3, do not include any explanations, markdown, code blocks, or yada yada. Sounds pretty good. Let's just make sure we have output content as JSON. And then I think we're just going to execute this text here. Execute. So what we're looking for now is, I guess, somewhere around, we actually got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 pieces of text. That's actually completely fine for me. I think the way that we would change it so that it is 20 images is actually to change the 12 to 14 word. Maybe it's more like 8 words, so we would change that. But so far, the phrase list is looking really great. So all we got to do now is to parse them and iterate them. So what we're going to do then is to have the split out. So here you can see that we're going to have the phrase list run through one item at a time, so we don't actually have just one item. So hopefully that should be able to just churn out all the items for us. Here we go, we got 12 items. And so now we're going to run through each of them separately, but all going through the entire automation. So let's see what to do next. I think the next step is really to make an image prompt. And so what we're going to do then is to message ChatGPT again. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I think we actually were able to do the step number 1. So we have been able to, just like that. Currently it's about 12, but if you were to want to have more, you could easily do that. Now step number 2 is going to make an image for each part. So let's get into that. Here inside of the nodes, we need to message ChatGPT again, because it's not going to be interesting if we just have the text itself be the image prompt. So we're going to message a model, and here we need to have some prompting as well. I already created this prompt, so I'm going to use for inspiration. So here we do have some prompting techniques like object background style. This is one of the favorite prompting techniques for image generators that I have. So we're going to use that as the system prompt. Here we go. Click on system, insert the prompt here. Then we're going to add another message, which is probably going to be a user. We actually have an assistant here as well. So that's really cool. We're going to add this one in here because it uses the same prompting framework, and really giving it examples is a really great way to get it to have more consistent output. And the last one is user. Here is the text snippet. And what I did before as well is that I gave him, hey, here is a text snippet, but here is also the entire context of the entire script itself. So I'll just change it for the image I want you to prompt. And here is the context the entire script, so you can think of what came before it and what will come after it. So then we're gonna add the entire script in here. I think this was a prompting hack that actually really worked well, so we're gonna use that. And here also, here we have the split out. So here we have 12 items, and we're going to run through them all individually. So this will change for every single time that we run it. And so it's looking good so far. I'm just going to exit here. And here, I bet if we actually export, it may run through one, or it may run through every of them. I do believe that having another model here, maybe not 4.1 mini is going to be the best idea. So let's do 4.1 and let's execute this step. So either it's going to create one or it's going to create 12 of them. So hopefully the image prompts are going to be a lot better than we are expecting. A diverse group of office workers at their desk, surprised as a glowing AI brain emerges above them in a dynamic modern digital art style. The next one is a diverse group of professionals celebrating in an office environment surrounded by glowing digital graphs and symbols representing AI, modern corporate style. So you can see that a lot of people are using with the ChatGPT logo on their screen. This is really awesome. So yeah, it's looking pretty good. And so what we're going to do next is to actually update that into an image model. Now, the image model that I like to use the most is through Replicate. So we're going to run an HTTP request. And if you've never done this before, it's really easy. So I'll show you what to do now. Just go to replicate.com and click on sign in. Here you can sign in with GitHub. Then we're going to click on explore and image models. The one that I liked the most before was the Flux model, but I'm wondering if they have Nano Banana in here. There is another way that we could go with Nano Banana as well, but it does require a Google. So I think we're going to run the Flux because it's so cheap. But I really want to check out Google if they have Nano Banana in here. They do have the Gemini 2.5 Flash. So this is kind of what they were talking about. Look at this. Wow, 2.7 million runs of Nano Banana. Yeah, so let's actually try that one. So here, the way that we're going to connect it is really simple. It also has $0.039 per output. So that's really cheap. And hopefully the images are going to be really good. How we actually connect it is to click on the HTTP. And here you have a curl. So we're just going to copy this right here. Then we're going to go back into N8N, click on import curl, then paste the curl command in here and click on import. This basically just fills out everything that you need. And so you don't have to make all the different buttons and stuff. But we do have to send a authorization bearer token. So what I'm actually going to do here is to have authentication. We're going to change it to generic credential type. And then here we're going to have a header auth. And the most important part here is that we have the value be bearer and the replicate token. So I believe we just click on this button here. We create a new one. Let's create new credential, name it replicate, and here the name should be authorization. I don't know if that is spelled it correctly. Nope, that was not spelled correctly. Put the correct in here. Then we're going to have bearer and our token in here. So where you actually find your token is inside of replicate. So let's go into replicate. Let's click on your API tokens in the top. And this is where you can create a new token. And then you can just copy the token and paste it right after the bearer here. I'm not going to show you this. And there we go. I think this should work. I don't know if we need to have the bearer in the beginning, but this should work. So let's go ahead and just delete the send header, I think. We definitely don't need this one, but we could prefer wait. And then we come to the body. And in the body, you can see all the different things that we can change inside the model itself on replicate. And so here we have the input prompt. So here we actually need to put the image prompt that we had before. So I'll just have that in brackets here. Content, we just pop that in there. Value, I'm not sure if we need to put a value in here. Let me just double check the curl. So this is actually an image input. So we don't actually need that image input. And it actually gave 2 image inputs to be kind of making that as a reference. So we're not going to have any input like that. So let's just put the image input completely away, just like that. One other thing is that we should definitely change the form to give us an output format of our size. it doesn't actually allow us to get the correct aspect ratio. So that's kind of annoying. If we're doing short form videos, it definitely should be vertical. We don't want this like 2x3 square. Yeah, it seems like we aren't able to just do a 9x16. So I'm going to use Flux for this. As you can see, Flux has a lot of really cool ones as well. The context is really awesome if you're going to have a consistent character. But also, if you want it all very cheap, they have the Schnell model. I use that quite a bit as well. The Flux 1.1 Pro is really good, so that's what I'm going to do here. You can see that the pricing is really similar to the Nano Banana as well, so it's not going to change the cost much. Also, we need 9x16, so that is a vertical aspect ratio. And we're going to do the exact same thing that we did before, which is getting the curl and posting that into the curl import inside of our N8N. So let's just import that. And since we already have the header, we're going to not send at least this authorization here. We're going to do the authorization generic, then we're going to change to header, and we have replicate here already. I really like this inside of N8N that you have this. But here we get into the JSON. So the input here is going to be the prompt. As you can see, you put this in here. And it also seems like the way they have a actual text spelling out the words Flux 1.1 Pro inside of these brackets. So this might be a prompt engineering hack. If we want to do text in the future, we could actually do that. Here, aspect ratio, output format, that's fine. Quality, safety, tolerance, this is all good. Let's check out the actual result itself. I don't actually want to send through all the 12, so I'll just do the text for now, just in case something messes up, just like that. Let's try to execute. I'm not sure I did the authorization correct. We might have a bearer too much. But it's executing and not giving us an error, so that does seem quite great. If you go into, oh, we actually got an output. So here, it did give us all the 12 items here. And now we have all of them with the exact same prompt. All right, let's get back here and let's put the content in just like this. So we actually do get quite a different, yeah. So now we made 12 of the same image. That's cool. Let's just take a look at one of them though. So we can just copy this link here, copy, and then paste it into, and as you can see, this is the image itself. I really like how it looks like. But again, if you want to redo the image, I like to do that as well, just to see different iterations and finding the perfect image. So now we do have it. And I do like that it has a prefer wait. So we actually do get the output of the image itself. So we don't have to actually request to get it back again. That's something we had to do before, but Replicate is really sick with that. So now all we're going to do is really to update Airtable and create a new item or a new column, a new row for every single item that comes through. So let's go with Airtable here. And we're going to create a record. So we have already set this up, and the base that we're going to do is the green screen one. So I'll just write green in here. We select this one. The table should be the table editor. And here we need to map each and every single one of them. So I actually think we should have sent the name through the webhook so we get that output. So what I'm going to do is inside the vibe creator, when we split images, I'm also going to edit. So we get not the voice ID here because we don't actually care about that. I'm going to change it to name. And then in the naming field here, I'm going to change that to name. That way we send this field here through the entire automation itself. So we can just save that, and then we should be able to get the name, so we can use that for naming conventions in the next step. So that should save in just a minute. Then I'm going to run through a bunch of the same prompts here just so we get the name from the webhook here. We're just gonna do that, waiting for the trigger. So we're gonna trigger that one again, split into images, and I'm actually going to run the entire thing. So from images, execute workflow. We'll click the button once again, and now it should run through the entire thing, even sending it to replicate. And this time you can see that it was 10 items, and that's because of ChatGPT. It's not perfect. It does do that sometimes, like it splits it into other variables. So here is something that we can improve for sure. And here we get 10 items. Now it's just creating it already. So that should create probably 10 records that are empty. Yeah, that's what it did. So let's delete that. Now let's go ahead and try to do this correctly. So I'm going to add an attachment. That way we actually just get the image right away. And I really like how it looks like. We also have drive link as well that we're going to do. So we might have to set up that before we actually go into the update Airtable. So I'm just going to drag this one down. And if you haven't set up Google Drive before, highly recommend checking out one of my videos on my channel. Just search AIND Google Drive or something like that, credentials maybe. Now here, all we need to do is file name. So again, we get that from the images and the name here, file name, and the data should be the input. So I think that should be fine. And we have it all correctly set up in this parent folder. The name of the file should be data. Hopefully it doesn't change, but we can fix this later if we do run into something. And we're just going to run it and see if we are able to do that. So it doesn't actually contain any data. So what I think we have to do is to actually download the image itself. As you can see, we get the output, but we aren't able to give that directly to the Google Drive. So we do have to download each and every single item here. And so let's do that beforehand. I'll just make an HTTP request and this should get, and it should be the output. And again, this is 10 items. So it's going to get that for each and every single item. And it basically downloads it into the workflow. So it's easy for us to, give it to Google Drive. So here you see all the different images. Then we're going to drag that into Google Drive. Here you can see that all we need to do is to get the file name. It could actually be the same, doesn't even matter. And the data now, as you can see, this input data field name actually is this. So that should mean that it should work. So let's try to run this as well. I think this should be pretty perfect, and it's not going to create a record yet. So that's also perfect. And there we go, 10 items uploaded. And now I believe we can change everything we want inside of here. So for the first part, I do want to have the naming convention be like job 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. But I don't think we actually have an iterator variable. I think we can use this index, but it should definitely be a +1 in here. So it seems like we can use this $ item index and do +1 for every single one. So I'm going to try to use that. Okay, that's pretty cool. Hopefully by every single item, it should +1, so we get a numbered list. And then for the image, we should take the actual HTTP request that we got the output. But it seems I messed it up now, so I need to execute the thing again. So that actually worked, really cool. All we need now is the actual image and the link to Google Drive. So let's find the image, and that should be the download image that we get from the replicate. I do believe this link should work as an image, even though that we do have the download request. We could also upload the binary data. Maybe we have to do that, but I'm pretty sure this should work. The drive link as well, we get the web content link. So let's drive that in here. Duration as well is something we could set automatically. I'll set the duration for 2 seconds, or since it's 10, I guess something like 3 seconds would be kind of cool, but this is something we can automate further that I have to do. But let's try to execute this step and see if we can get the images. So the array, this link doesn't work. So let's see if any of the other links actually work. I'm not sure. It does work in make. Yeah, this one also doesn't work. Let's see if we can do the last one here. Yeah, it doesn't work here as well. And it may actually be because of the format that we are requesting. So we're requesting a WebP. We could do a JPEG. So it definitely does seem like it should be the output right here from this one here. But again, it might be the WebP. So let's try to run it. JPEG is not with an E. Let's execute. And we execute the rest of them as well. Still doesn't work. Okay, I think we have fixed it like that. We kind of have to force it to make sure that it's a URL. It doesn't just immediately go in there. So hopefully that should work. Let's test it out. It's executing. There we go. 10. And what happened here? Look at that. Now to make it bigger, you can click on row height and then extra tall. That makes the images stay a little bit further up. And look at this. It looks amazing. I noticed now that the consistent style is not there. Also, we should have the prompt text, but we definitely have the make image of each part done. So we did make an image for each part. That's super sick. So we need to fine tune it a little bit. And we need to make a redo image button as well. So we can just remake the same image again and again. And so I'm just going to change the prompt as well, just so we have a little bit more consistent. And also I need to make the actual prompt because the text part is not the same as the prompt itself. So first, let's try to get more consistent style. So here in the image generation prompt, that is this message model. Let's do again. In the system prompt itself, we can change the style. So here we can, for example, do style cinematic photography. Here we could obviously do something like digital art, 3D render and stuff like that. But hopefully the cinematic photography is going to make it a little bit more realistic. So that should be fine on the image gen part. Also, I did promise to give 20 different images. So I'm going to change this to be a little bit shorter. So it should be something like 5 to 6 or 7. Must be longer than 5 and shorter than 7. So that should help us do 20 of them. And the next thing I'm going to change is to update the actual text part, like what is actually being spoken. So that should be in our split out. So that is probably this phrase right here, text part. And the image prompt we get from the image gen right here. So that is the content of the image prompt. And we're going to use that when we do the redo image button. So we kind of need that. And so I'm just going to execute this step once again. And that should hopefully, oh, it's actually running through the entire thing. So here we got actually 24 items. We're now on to the vibe creator and it should be automatically uploading each and every single item here in the Airtable. That's pretty crazy. It also looks like the style is very consistent throughout. So that's perfect for consistency. Now I'm just going to do a redo image. And for that, we do have to have a new webhook. So I'll just click on this test URL, go back to our Airtable and do everything before the question mark and make sure that we have the actual image prompt. So I'm going to do the image prompt and the drive link is fine. We're not going to use it, but still it's fine to have. And we do also have the record ID. So that's all we need. And that should use pretty much the exact same thing that is happening here. So I'm just going to copy and paste that. So what we're doing now is that we're adding this into the replicate. And this is literally the exact same. I'm just going to run the trigger here just to see what the data we get is. Well, let's do job 1 and we don't have the JSON message. So that's what we're going to do here. We'll do the redo image. And what's so cool about this, we actually called it name. So that's not a great naming on my half here. And so we'll just do name, but this is the image prompt that we actually get. And by the way, you can always change the image prompt here. That's how it is so customizable. So if you actually don't want enough for a worker or anything like that, you can actually change the image prompt. And then we can create a new image just with a click of a button. So here, when we go back, this should add it to pretty much everything besides the create record. Here, we're not actually going to create one. We're going to create or update. then we need to have an ID. So I'm just gonna remove every single part here. This is not a good way to do it. Let's click on refresh. I think we broke it. Okay, we can actually just add the one we want. So we want the image, and yeah, that's pretty much all we need. So the ID we need to get from the record ID. So that's right here, drag that in. The image that we get, again, is from the HTTP request. And since we haven't ran it yet, we can't get that. But it should be pretty much the exact same as HTTP request 3. So I'm just going to take this exact node here that we had for the image. And I'm just going to change out the name of it. So here, I'll paste that in here. And then instead of HTTP request 3, we'll do request 5. And I bet that should actually work. So it looks like it's all good to go. Let's click on execute workflow, redo image. And inside of Vibe Creator, let's do this dynamic clock. Click on that. The workflow has started. It's sending it to replicate right now, downloading it and uploading it. Seems like it didn't actually want that because we have this. And so we're not going to use that. We're going to use, yeah, we don't have a good naming convention here. So let's just name it the record ID. That should be fine. Let's execute that step. And then let's execute this step. And there we go. It should now be updated. And it also seems like we don't have an updated drive link. So I think we need to do that as well. Oh, it seems like it actually didn't work here. So let's try to fix it. Okay, the URL was actually working, but it just didn't update correctly. And then the drive link, perfect. We get it from the upload. Let's try to execute this step. And just like that, we got a second clock. Wow, that looks actually sick. And we also get the drive link in here. And the cool part is obviously you can just change it right here with spinning hands. You can do crazy dial. And then you can just click this button again once you've activated the workflow. However, if it's actually active in the top here, you can just click it without having to execute workflow every time in the bottom. But we'll just do redo image. Then you can just click on any of the images that you want. Let's do the clock once again. It should be workflow started. And in just a couple of seconds, we will get the image updated back again. Another absolutely amazing clock. So now you know exactly how to turn a script into 20 different images, all with this N8N automation. But if you're realizing that this is something you need to learn, you should definitely check out our AI Made community. It's a growing community of people that use N8N in different creative ways. And if you want to download my blueprints and everything, check out the Vibe Creator 2.0. I just updated it with one of my favorite N8N automations to date that creates an AI clone that scripts it all the way to publishing to 9 different platforms. Highly recommend checking it out. But hopefully you got something out of this. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.